Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. There are some new things that I wanted to try and I've been curious about. So we're going to get into that. There's going to be a mix of drugstore and high-end today. And I have decided this year that I'm really going to make an effort to get to know drugstore better. So you've been seeing a lot of drugstore recently, and I'm definitely heading in that direction. I'm trying to find things that are more affordable, but that are just as fantastic. So we're gonna try some things out today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. And let me tell you, this is kind of funny. A couple weeks ago, I made an Ulta order, and when it arrived, I thought I had ordered this, which is the new 24-hour Fresh Wear L'Oreal foundation and a powder. And it turns out I had just ordered their Infallible Pro Matte. They look so similar. And it wasn't until later when I was looking at it, I'm like, this just feels like a powder. I recorded a video, I'm like, this doesn't feel like foundation. It wasn't. So I had to go get the other one. So that's what I wanted to do today. That's the one thing I'm super curious about, is what does this foundation feel like on the skin. So I already have concealer on and my under eyes set with a lightweight powder, not with this. Sometimes I feel like if I wear like powder foundation under my eyes, since my eyes are older and they're a little crinkly and it's just a trouble area for me anyway, I want to use a powder there that I know is going to work well and that's going to wear well, and it's not going to really make a situation that we didn't need to have. So I'm going to use this on the rest of my face, and I thought we would try. I don't have, like, normally I would like conceal my hyperpigmentation spot, redness around the nose, some of the spots I have down here, but I want to know how good this is. I wanted to try a couple different ways to apply. I have kind of like a flat top buffing brush. This is a foundation brush, and this is just your regular fluffy powder brush. I think we're gonna get a different look. The other thing I'm wondering if maybe we need to do is to pull out the applicator that comes with it. We'll see. Let's use this on this side and we'll go from there. I feel like I have a lot of product on here. I hope it's not too much, but I'm curious. I feel like as I'm putting it on, it definitely is taking down some of the freckles, a little bit of the redness. Let's see right here. I don't ever feel like I pick up this much powder for anything. I don't feel like I can get this spot covered. I feel like this is a really good way for you to see what I'm getting here. I feel like you can see redness, you know, coming over this way, but I don't feel like all of the redness I normally cancel out here with foundation and concealer at the corner of my nose is gone. I still feel like I'm seeing some of the redness here from some leftover acne spots, some post-inflammatory situations still visible. And my hyperpigmentation spot, I've got a couple right here. My big giant one that's always like my most frustrating point is still fairly visible to me. I will say it's very matte in appearance, and it does give you a more perfected look, but it's certainly not full coverage. I want to know what it's going to look like with a fluffier brush on the other side. Kind of reminds me of my 20s and my Bare Mineral days. I haven't worn Bare Minerals, like mineral foundation makeup, for a long time, but I remember the whole, you know, swirl and buffing it all over the face. Kind of takes me back. I almost feel like I need to bring you in just a little bit closer to get a better look at this. If you're looking at this, you'll notice that you can see some hyperpigmentation spots here and here. This is the side I used the more compact buffing brush with, and this side I used that fluffier, more, you know, soft brush for. I feel like if I'm looking at it, that I see more of my natural skin, like some of these pigmentation spots coming through. I'll tell you this, like my forehead, because the older I get, the more I have very defined wrinkles, and I feel like this softer brush makes my forehead look a little natural, a little more natural, and not as much product settling into my crinkles and creases, but I don't feel like I'm getting enough coverage. My curiosity is it really gonna make a huge difference when I pull out the accompanying sponge? It has a little compartment down here. Oh, and it has a mirror. Let's use this. I feel like I have a lot more redness on this half of my chin than I do on this half of my chin because I use the buffing flat top brush over here. What happens if oh wow, look at that. I feel like a lot of the redness is gone. What happens if I put this on this side of my nose? You can see the line, like, yeah, there's a real specific line. I feel like at this point I am able to get a little bit more coverage, but I still am seeing some of the pigmentation differences in my skin that I don't get as much when I'm wearing a liquid foundation and like liquid concealer everywhere. I feel like it's a little bit better. I'm just going to continue to do this all over my face just to make sure we look even everywhere. If you're curious, I'm using the shade 5 Pearl. I feel like it's a fairly good, I feel like I might be just a hair pinker than normal. I feel like it's a little bit more cool leaning than warm leaning. But I feel like it's okay. I feel like with bronzer and blush, it's gonna be a lot better. I don't really know, you can still kind of see my spots here. This says it's matte full coverage. Grain of salt. And I tried, you know, a fluffy brush. I tried a flat top buffing brush. I got the best coverage with the sponge that comes in this compact. And I feel like you're really gonna be able to pack it on, but then it also feels like you have it packed on. So being that I'm 46, sometimes I don't wanna look like I'm wearing a lot of heavy makeup. And I'm definitely going for lighter applications. And so for me, my goal is always to perfect my skin with skincare so that I need less makeup, like especially base makeup. But let's just keep going. I need a few other things on. This came in my Lucky Bag as well as a Sonia G brush. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. It's her Instant Look in a palette, the Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. I'm gonna use all 3 of the eye shades, the bronzer, the highlight, and the blush today. So I'm gonna start with this first color here. Oh, new eyeshadow, new brushes, new foundation. I don't know, did I already mention my earrings? My 10-year-old made these for me for my birthday. It's the day I'm recording is my birthday. But my kids have been doing fun stuff for me all week. So I thought I'd wear my little new Easter egg shaped earrings. My 12-year-old daughter wrote a song for me. My kids are taking a music composition class and they're doing it over Zoom with some musicians from the local symphony. And they've been learning how to compose music. And so she used this really interesting online, I'm just gonna go to the next darkest color here, online music composition software, and she wrote a song for me, and so I was listening to it this morning and I started tearing up. Oh, my kids are great. I will tell you, even though I've missed, you know, being around other people, celebrating, you know, special events like birthdays with family, extended family, the one good part about being home so frequently is that I know my kids better. My kids know me better. We've had time to do things that we were always just too busy to do before. You know, bake, read books, watch favorite movies. We've shared a lot of things together, and that I've had to remind myself that's a silver lining of this whole situation. But still, this is really pretty. I've always really liked Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. I just don't like that the quads are $53 a piece. Oh, so expensive. I have another Instant Look in a palette that I love to wear. I love that there's, you know, 3 shades and, you know, boom, you're done. You've got everything you need, all the color for your face. But the one thing that worries me is that I haven't seen all of her Instant Look in a palettes, but I feel like a lot of the ones that I have seen have more of that pillow talk vibe with kind of rosy shades, but the face shades are always too light for people of a deeper skin tone. And that's kind of a situation that I see a lot of people kind of in. I'm gonna take this same shade here, this number 2, and I'm gonna run it right along the lower lash line. And I'm gonna take this color here. This is the only matte. There's a shimmer, there's more of a satin, and then this guy here And I'm just gonna lay it right out here where I want a little bit more depth and dimension. I'm gonna go back to this Blender Pro, which is the one that I got in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. This is my 3rd year in a row getting a Sonia G brush. These brushes have really increased the luxe level of my eye brush collection, but I'll tell you, they're kind of like little magic wands. I feel like they can blend anything and make something easy, fast, and effortless. So I invested in an entire set. I got the Sky Eye set. Couldn't be happier. Have loved these so much. I think I'm gonna use the highlight shade in here for the inner corner of my eye. I want something that's just a shade lighter than the lightest eyeshadow in here. I'm gonna grab the bronzer. I'm kind of curious, I haven't swatched them yet, but these 2 shades in here, bronzer and highlight, are really familiar to the Film Star Bronze and Glow. I've had that for years and I still love it and I still reach for it. And these kind of remind me of the same shades because the Film Star Bronze and Glow is very similar to the other Instant Look in a palette that I have. And I think the lightest Charlotte Tilbury bronzer I have is shade 1 in her big gold compact. And the darkest one I have is the one that came in the Glowgasm palette. They Lightgasm, no, it's a Glowgasm palette. That's probably the deepest one I have, but I don't like the formula of that one too much. It feels like it gets hard pan really easily. This is nice. Charlotte has this swish and pop idea for blush. That's why she gives you 2 shades. And she also does it in her full-size compacts. They come with 2 colors, and the outside color is the swish color and the center color is the pop color. It's supposed to go just on the apples. So I'm going to take the one marked swish and I'm going to put that all across my cheekbones, like right in through here. It's a much lighter shade. I don't know if you didn't have fair skin how well this shade would show up on somebody else, but I feel like this is an ideal shade for me. I was really pleased with the contents of my Lucky Bag this year. I feel like I'm gonna be able to use everything except for the hair product that I got, which I already gave to a friend. I'm hoping that it all works really well. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this pop color and I'm gonna, ooh, okay, too much. I'm gonna focus it just on the apples of my cheeks. I feel like that's really nice. And now I'm just gonna go into the highlight. I pulled out, I was thinking about previous Beautylish Lucky Bags, and this is the Wayne Goss fan brush that came in one, I think 3 years ago. And I don't really use it that much, but it's really good for like a really light application of cheek products. I'm gonna take a minute to put on my brows, mascara, liner, and I'll be right back for a lip. The last thing I picked up at the drugstore yesterday was another one of the super lustrous glass shine lipsticks from Revlon. I have really fallen hard for these. This one is in the shade 03 Glossed Up Rose. I love how shiny they are. They're so comfortable. I'm gonna add in just a little bit of Nude Illuminator, which is just a little bit more neutral. Same formula though. These lipsticks are the best. They're so comfortable. They're not good under a mask, but I love how comforting and nourishing they are on the lips. I can't wait until I can wear these all the time and not need to worry about a mask. This turned out pretty good. Okay, so I knew I already loved these lipsticks, which is why I picked up this one here in Glossed Up Rose. Such a pretty kind of glossy pink shade. I already know that I love Charlotte Tilbury products. I was so glad to get this in my Beautylish Lucky Bag this year, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. The other thing that I love is even though you have a bronzer and a highlight, I will sometimes use, like I used the highlight today for inner corner. I've used the bronzer before, and you know, pretty soon instead of having just 3 eyeshadow shades, I end up having 5 because I use them that way. You can use the blush as well that way. I feel like I get a wide selection of options when I use this. I'm gonna do a photo check-in later today, and I will leave it for you here just before I take my makeup off at the end of the day of how this wore. I of course will probably touch my lipstick up throughout the day, but I'm curious as to whether this is going to rub off on the nose and chin or around here as I wear a mask, because I do have to go to the grocery store later today. I am curious as to how it's going to wear. It says it's full coverage. I take that with a grain of salt. I get more coverage when I use the sponge to apply it, but I don't know that I would call it full coverage, because if I can still see like freckling and a little bit of redness and hyperpigmentation, I feel like a full coverage liquid foundation can really cancel all of that out and give you a really perfected base. But this is definitely medium coverage, and it does tone down the redness. It does make the face look more perfected. My curiosity, it says 24-hour fresh wear. We'll see about that. And I'll also let you know how it wears under a mask. Let me know if you've been intrigued by some recent releases that you haven't tried yet. I have a lot on my table in front of me. I need to stop purchasing, but I've got a couple of great videos that I'm planning on recording that I'm hoping you're going to love. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for being subscribed. If you're new here, would you please subscribe? And I will see you again soon. Bye.